Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Guess what? Tonight we're going live here at 7 o'clock with someone, a very special guest that you guys have been asking about for a very long time. Yeah. So, grab your coffee, maybe a seltzer. I got watermelon flavored seltzer. This stuff, oh my God, when I tell you it's so good. And maybe, you know, something you're gonna need. Hell, just grab some coffee beans and start snacking on those because we got some good info. All right, so in my earlier video, I had talked about a company called ByHeart, okay? And I received this this email about an hour ago, and the email says, beware, the founder of ByHeart has ties to the Gates Foundation. Let me show. Oh my God. Google Mia Funt, F-U-N-T, the founder. Ties to big companies and big businesses. ByHeart may be getting positive press attention because of the negative press about Abbott. Also, if you read the big article about women and babies, it helps you understand the tummy issues babies are having. As always, take care and be safe. Thank you. Yeah, you know, when it comes to tummy issues with babies, you know, the first and foremost, the one is always it's colic, okay? And I know, like, when my husband was a baby, he had it. When I was a baby, I had it. When my son, okay, when he was born, he had it. And, you know, they either put you on Nutramigen or the doctor will say goat's milk. And here's the other one. I remember my mother-in-law telling me that before Nutramigen, they prescribed something called paregoric. So if you remember that from the 70s, yeah. So on to this. This email was sent to me, and Madonna mia. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, and that's R-A-I-C-S-I, last month announced that the government would introduce a digital coupon system that allows people to purchase a minimum amount of bread at subsidized prices. Yeah, I remember talking about that. And the surplus will only be available at market prices. Now, today, those subsidies are being wasted, and people are witnessing corruption, discrimination in this regard. Now, how can we let this continue, right? And this is what this Raisi said. I can't pronounce his last name. And he said, the people and the elite urge us to reform the economy, and we are determined to do so. However, the rationing system will be rolled out digitally using a biometric identification app, which could theoretically be linked with a social credit system. So, hello, China, right? Including the consumer's carbon footprint, V status, and political compliance. So if they don't like who you voted for in the last election, guess what? You're not getting any food. And if you weren't compliant and getting the arm candy, guess what? You're not getting any food. And if they don't like what you posted on Twitter or on Facebook, guess what? It's disgusting. The plan will be rolled out within 2 months. First, just concerning bread, while other flour-based staple foods will eventually be covered with all basic necessities like oil, meat, dairy, and so on. Okay? So, also this, the infamous food and rationing IDs, this is something else that was sent to me about this, have now arrived, with Iran becoming the first nation in the world to launch biometric passports that permit citizens to buy food and other goods. Flying under the radar 1 week ago, Iranian president announced the nation will prune bread subsidies as commodity prices continue to soar. The government will offer citizen digital coupons that will allow them to access a limited amount of bread at subsidized prices. Right, and it goes on and on and on and on and on about what I was just talking about. You know, this is horrifying. Could it come here? I don't know. I'm not even going to sit here and say, yep, sure is, you know. But it's just, how awful is it that they're going to determine on if you get food or not on your last post, your V status, and if you voted for the right guy or not. And I'm sure there's other indications as well, you know, with their social credit score. Anyway, so out west, okay, California and all, this mega drought, okay, is the worst it has been in 1,200 years. So I'm going to leave links to this, okay, because this is going to be extremely concerning. This is going to affect our food supply as well, okay, and it's something that we should all keep our eye on, okay? So, on to this. You know, if it's not one thing, it's something else, then it's something else, then it's something else. It's like I keep saying, you know, about the shiny objects. They want you to just, you know, it's like they want to keep your mind racing and look over here, look over there, look. It's terrible. No wonder why I constantly have headaches. So, an academic researcher and author, his name is J.R. Nyquist, has conducted a bombshell interview with a Mr. Wang from LUDE Media, the same group that acquired a secret audio recording from high-level CCP-PLA military leaders in southern China that revealed that China and Russia are teaming up to eliminate the United States and occupy North America. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but I'm only giving you the news as it is given to me. Yes? So, this is the summary of that interview, okay? And I will read it to you. According to Mr. Wang, the CCP is facing Russia's war in Ukraine. However, he says, Russia's best forces are not being used in Ukraine. They have been deployed in the Far East, prepared for action against us in America. According to LUDE, media sources, China will try to use nuclear blackmail and unrestricted warfare to collapse the U.S. while forcing Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea under Chinese control. Failing this, China and Russia will launch a full-scale war against the United States. The Russian and Chinese fleets will be united, not in the same ocean, but by attacking the same continent, North America. The Russians will attack through the Arctic, the Chinese through the Pacific. And according to Mr. Wang, the lockdowns in China have been used to hide the deployment of mobile ICBMs and other weapons. Streets have been cleared and highways closed for this purpose. To avoid satellite detection, missile convoys have been disguised as medical or Rona convoys. And this media has reported that Russia and China have an agreement to invade and occupy North America, dividing the territory between them. For the love of God, I can't. I don't even want to think about it. Don't even want to think about it. So, just, it has a lot to do with the sanctions, that have been put on Russia and China too, so that's just how, whatever. This administration, they have caused so much damage to this country. It's like, I don't think we can ever repair ourselves. I really don't. Onto this, a subscriber had said that she found a way to get her money back on the Jif recall, okay, on the peanut butter, and that link will be in the description box below, okay? So this comes in from my favorite gal pal in the UK, all right, and she said she saw a couple of news articles regarding the monkeys. Apparently, the UK has now over 300 cases and no doubt still growing. She also saw an article that said there are 2 strains of this. So now there's a chance of which one you'd like. Oh, great. Now they're going to come out with the strains on this thing like they did with the Rona. You got, this strain, that strain, this strain, that strain. It's freaking ridiculous. She said something else that said the virus has mutated, yet the WHO said there is no evidence to indicate any mutations. Also, from June 8th here in the UK, the UK HSA to list the monkeys as a notifiable disease. This means all doctors in England are required to notify their local council or local health protection team if they suspect a patient has the monkey, and laboratories must also notify the UK Health Security Agency if the monkey virus is identified in a lab sample. So those links will be in the description box below for you guys, okay? She said, then I came across this article from the University of Liverpool about a study shedding light on the UK outbreak. Using a case note review, the study looked at the 7 cases of human monkeypox, including 1 young child, which was diagnosed in the UK between 2018 and 2021. The study identified that although limited transmission within the UK has occurred in household and healthcare settings, all cases had serial monitoring of blood, urine, and throat swabs for monkeypox virus by PCR performed at the UKHSA Rare and Imported Pathogens Lab. This had never been done before and demonstrated prolonged viral shedding from a variety of body sites, changing our understanding of the biology of this disease. And this study said that the cases occurred in household and healthcare settings. And how can this be? She said, I also noted that nowhere in this study does it say that the cases had been to any parts of Africa. So either they don't know how it spread, or they are not telling us the whole story. Well, there's a surprise. She said, then you mentioned in one recent video about the CDC recommending masks, which doesn't make any sense either. No, of course it doesn't. You can't even travel now, they're saying, without having a mask on. It's not respiratory. It's, oh God. She said, either as all news and government articles I've seen are all saying this is spreading through sexual contact. Yes, it is. That's why they're continuously blaming the LGBT community. And they'll be wanting people to mask up their bits not for doing the deeds. It's terrible. She said, I told you about the UK HSA removing and adding things from their website. Yes, you did. And they're doing the same thing here. They're constantly removing things from their website because it doesn't meet their agenda anymore. She said, which that you then added a video about it. And also there's the article I sent you that said even African doctors were puzzled by this outbreak across Europe, and other articles which said here in the UK this needed further investigation. And although they were saying it spreaded via sexual contact, they weren't 100% sure. They're never going to be 100% sure on any of these things. She said, all along, I have been thinking something is not right here, and something very strange is going on with all of this. And so far, I have not seen or heard anything which changes my mind. However, what I am seeing is that the MSM, who CDC and everyone else is doing exactly the same shite they did with Rona, whereby the narrative keeps changing every couple of days, and they are coming out with some of the most outlandish old tripe that doesn't even make any sense. Well, no, of course, because they have to do things that meet that agenda. They have to. Otherwise, they have no purpose in life, and it's ridiculous. And then she goes on to say, this thing that's going around is most certainly related to the pox family. But is this really proper monkeys? No. I'm questioning this because you can't trust anything that you're told about. Yeah, you can't. You really can't trust anything that comes out of any of these agencies. You really can't. She said, and here's another couple of things that I've been nagging away at the back of my head. The first one concerns the confiscation of food. We know this was done across the U.S. at the start of the Great Depression. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And she said, I have seen lots of comments on videos saying they wouldn't be able to go door to door now due to areas being densely populated, and there wouldn't be the manpower to achieve such a mammoth task. Yes, I can understand this point of view to a certain degree. However, I personally wouldn't make this assumption and just take it for granted that they won't. And why? Because I trust nothing and no one. I've always said if they did it once, they'll do it again, especially if some emergency or martial law is declared. Exactly. You're exactly correct on that. You know, I mean, especially with this administration, you never know what the hell they're going to. They always have an ace up their sleeve. They really do. So, where was I? She said they may not be able to do it in whole densely population area, but they could certainly cover a quarter, even half of it. So don't think that they won't. So once again, there has been bothering me lately, and then surprise, surprise, a few videos have been propping up on my YouTube homepage with titles about hiding or burying your food outside in the grounds of their properties. I haven't watched any of these videos, by the way. However, I think these preppers might have the right idea. Right. And, you know, Trish and I were just talking the other day about taking, you know, the big freezers that we have that are full of meats and stuff like that, you know, even, you know, taking broken freezers, burying them in the ground and using those for like root cellars and stuff like that. And, you know, yeah, believe me, we've already discussed this. Yeah. But of course, I'm not going to do a video about it because I don't want anybody to know about it. You know what I mean? So she said, and that's going to be easy for someone to walk in and take a lot. So I'm wondering if people need to rethink their setup, which of course is far easier said than done, especially if space is at a premium. Yeah. And as I have a 1-bedroom flat or apartment, as you call it, my stuff is spread all over and hidden away in storage furniture and walk-in cupboards, etc. As I'm in an upstairs flat, it just so happens that I have wooden floorboards under my carpet. So under those floorboards may be a good hiding place. Yeah, it would be. It would be. I even came up with a solution for a subscriber because her apartment, the landlords, you know, were coming in to do inspections of the apartments, and I said, put everything against the wall. Do you have extra sets of curtains, like, you know, like the curtains that you put up against along like the sliders? Do you have tension rods or anything? And put those curtains along the walls. Put your preps up against the walls and cover them with the curtains. It just looks like you have tapestry. You're hiding your preps somehow. At least people who walk in the house wouldn't be able to be like, oh, she's got, you know, they're being hidden by curtains. So even if you have, you know, shelving up, take those curtains and put them up along the shelving. Hide them. That's the only way. That's the only thing I can think of, especially if you're pressed for space. So, believe me, you know, my mind constantly races and constantly thinks of ideas and solutions and things like that because I get these emails all the time. Help! What can I do? What can I do? Boom! This is the idea that I just now came up with. I hope this helps. So she said, last but not least, the other thing that I have been thinking about is the food supply chain and coming food crisis. When it all comes up and we have no idea how long this situation will go on for. Looking back at history, we know that situations have lasted a number of years, right? And that's why, you know, we all are looking at 7-year famine right now. She said, realistically, who has the funds in this space to store 3 to 6 years worth of food or longer? I know I certainly do not. For those of us that have basements, you know, or garages, as long as they're climate controlled. I have a garage that's not climate controlled yet. I do have an AC unit, but I have to get a hole in the wall. You know what I mean? So she said, not many unless you're very wealthy or one of the elite. Yeah, that's true. With all things we've been hearing about the coming famine and starvation, I've always been of the opinion that the poorest countries will suffer first, followed by the countries whose economies collapse. I've always thought that the richer Western countries will see more shortages, less products, shrinkflation, plus ridiculous inflation before we see any famine and starvation. I've always said that this is what I think, and I hope I'm not wrong, but now I'm not so sure. And I say this because now so many countries are stopping their exports in certain things or declaring force majeure. And this is making me rethink my previous assumption. Yeah, exactly. And you know, what's funny is because you just mentioned force majeure, for July's newsletter, Trish wrote up brilliance once again, because that's how her mind works, an entire section, but it's not just a section, it actually takes up 6.5 pages of the newsletter, about force majeure and how it's all broken down and how it will happen minute by friggin' minute. It's brilliance. So, you know, if you want the newsletter for July, you know, just let me know. Okay, and we'll get you set up for that. So she said, and then lo and behold, a video popped up on my YouTube with the title, World Bank says economic hell will last for 8 years. Yeah, you got the 7-year famine, and then the economy will be just shite. Yeah, exactly. The person in the video is reading out from some article, but unfortunately has not given any links or even said what he's reading from. But I think I have found something that matches it. I have read this article and nowhere does it say anything about 8 years. However, it does say that the pain of stagflation could persist for years. Not 4 years, but 4 years. And FOR. And now what I find interesting about this is the 8 years in that video title. We are in 2022 now, so what will be the year in 8 years' time? 2030, exactly. Agenda 2030. But they're trying to accelerate that agenda, and now we've been hearing 2025. And there we have it. 2030 pops up once again. Is this yet another of those super amazing coincidences? It could be, but then again, a lot of us don't believe in coincidences. You know what I mean? So, really quick before I go, there's going to be another link in the description box below that the U.S. Defense Secretary flew out to their doomsday bunker with a doomsday plane. I don't know. So, and then this, we're going to be discussing a lot of this tonight, okay? The World Bank warns global economy may suffer 1970s stagflation, okay? So, guys, we're in for a world of freaking hurt, okay? And I just hope to God that you guys are prepared, okay? I mean, we may be headed for years of weak growth, rising prices, toxic combination that will test the stability of dozens of countries still struggling to rebound from the pandemic. And that's what the World Bank has warned, okay? So, and this has not happened since the 1970s. And I know a lot of us were alive during the 1970s. All right? So I'll see you guys tonight at 7 o'clock. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe, stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.